Like and subscribe and click the bell icon to get new video updates.
9 people found from tour boat that went missing in rough waters off Japan. 9 people, most of them unresponsive, have been found by rescuers after a tour boat sank off Japan's northern coast with 26 people on board a day earlier. As of 11 a.m., 0200 GMT, Coast Guard aircraft have rescued 4 people, local police aircraft rescued 4 people and a self-defense force aircraft rescued 1 person from waters or rocky coastal areas, Japan's Coast Guard said in a press release on Sunday. Earlier, local officials and media said those retrieved so far were unresponsive, though the exact condition of all 9 was not immediately clear. Those rescued so far were being taken to medical facilities, with national broadcaster NHK showing at least 1 person on a stretcher being moved by rescue workers from a helicopter to an ambulance. Search and rescue operations were continuing for others still missing from the Kazu I, which sent a distress signal at 1:13 p.m. on Saturday saying it was sinking in the frigid waters off the northern Japanese island of Hokkaidō. Authorities lost contact with Kazu I after the crew reported that water was flooding into the stern of the vessel and it had started to sink, the public broadcaster NHK said. The crew said those on board were wearing lifejackets and the boat was keeling at a 30-degree angle, NHK reported. There were 24 passengers, including 2 children, plus 2 crew members on board. Coast Guards dispatched 5 patrol boats and 2 aircraft in the search, NHK said. It was reportedly about 3 hours before the first rescuers arrived at the scene. Average April sea temperatures in the region are reportedly just above freezing. Yoshihiko Yamada, a Tokai University marine science professor, said the boat was likely to have run aground after being tossed around in high waves and becoming damaged and flooded. A tour boat of that size usually does not carry a lifeboat, and passengers may not have been able to jump out of the sinking vessel because its windows are likely to have been closed to shield them from strong winds, Yamada continued. An official from Shiretoko Pleasure Cruise, the company which operates the vessel, told AP he could not give further details as he had to prioritise responding to calls from passengers' worried families. In an interview with TBS television, Jun Abe, the vice-chairman of the Society of Water Rescue and Survival Research, said that cold temperatures and strong winds would place passengers at risk of hypothermia. According to the tour company's homepage, the boat holds 65 people. Tours around the Shiretoko Peninsula, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, usually last 3 hours, according to the operator. Japan's borders remain closed to tourists because of COVID regulations, so sightseeing in the country is effectively limited to residents and Japanese citizens. The Kazu I left the port of Utoro around 10 a.m. on Saturday and was expected to return by 1 p.m., NHK said. Waves had been high and fishing boats in the area had returned to port by mid-morning. It had been in the area of the Shiretoko Peninsula, in the northern part of Japan's northernmost island, and was believed to have been near the Kashinu Falls, NHK said. Japan's Prime Minister, Fumio Kishida, had been attending a 2-day summit in the south of the country but is said to be returning to Tokyo to deal with the incident.